Shanahan squad is favored, but Mahomes has never lost to the 49ers. Andy Reid has the highest winning percentage in the history of the NFL off the bye. And Kyle Shanahan, 0-7 against Andy as an assistant or head coach.
Wow.
That being said, Kyle doesn't want to dwell on the past. Take a listen.
Of course not.
Yeah, I think everyone understands that we've lost the 2 Super Bowls to them. So, I mean, that can give a little post-traumatic stress when you turn on the tape, but I think that's human nature. But you got to make sure you don't get caught up in that. You know, this game has nothing to do with past games. That was last year. We're playing a really good AFC opponent. We're 500 right now. We want to stay atop of our division and get a win. You think about that stuff going into it, but in terms of what it plays out in a game, it really has no correlation, and you try to make sure that it doesn't.
Don't believe you. What you got?
For the record, I believe him a little bit. I think because Trent Williams has had some good quotes on this, which was, let's say we win. Are they dropping confetti? Or are we popping champagne? Like, when we've lost to them, it's been a culmination of a season and a celebration for them. If we were to beat them, we don't get to have that same type of thing. So I agree with him in a little bit, but it might give them a little more confidence if they think this is a likely Super Bowl this coming year, that we're going to get the same one. So listen, I have Kansas City, and it's not going to be for the reasons I think people would expect, which is the obvious reason to take Kansas City is Patrick Mahomes, among other things, is the greatest underdog quarterback in NFL history. That's not even a matter of opinion. It's just a matter of fact. He has the best record. He has the best record against the spread. His team scores the most points as an underdog of any team with at least 10 instances. He has the best passer rating.
As an underdog is insane.
Correct, because all
of
those numbers are insane, and he has been an underdog in 5 of his last 6 playoff games. He was an underdog in the AFC Championship game against the Bengals because his ankle was hurt, in the Super Bowl against Philly, and then all 3 of their last playoff games last year, everything but the Dolphins playoff game. But that's not why they're going to win. They're going to win because Kansas City is going to slowly suffocate San Francisco. Because Kansas City doesn't let you score, and the Niners, if they don't score, lose all the time. And I know that sounds silly, but let me explain it. I heard Acho talking this week, what are the Chiefs going to do when someone scores 35? And the answer is, I don't know, but luckily that's never going to happen because nobody can score 28. The Chiefs have not allowed 28 points since the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Niners, since Purdy took over, when they get to 28, they are LeVar Ball. They never lose. And when they don't, they are the Carolina Panthers. And so I don't think, Brew, right, I don't think the Niners are going to be able to hang anything close to 30. And the Chiefs' incredibly effective but very dull running game will carry the day. And so let me just give one more stat and then go. The Chiefs' success rate, which is kind of a smart guy stat, but it basically means, does your run get on first and 10, does it get you at least 2nd and 6? Or on 3rd and short, does it pick it up? The Chiefs are number 1 in the NFL in success rate running the ball while being dead last in explosive runs. They don't have a single run by a running back longer than 11 yards. So they're just basically getting 4 or 5 yards every time, and that's what I think they're going to do. And it's going to be a boring game, and Kansas City's going to win. And then on Monday, people are going to be like, what's wrong with the Chiefs' offense? And it's just who they are at this moment in time.
I got the Niners.
Ooh.
And look, none of us expect the Chiefs to go undefeated. They win this game, I think people might start talking about it, Nick, going 17-0. And I think most people, and maybe even you, think the loss or a couple losses will come to teams that they may overlook. They've lost to Indianapolis, Denver, like a middling team that they just overlook, and it's that team's Super Bowl. But I think the Niners win this game because it is more important to them.
I buy that.
And I don't think the Chiefs are taking them lightly, obviously, but the Niners need this. Like, they really need this. Even though Trent Williams has said rightly it's not going to be confetti from the sky should we win, but they need to win this game. I don't think it'll be the Super Bowl matchup, but if it is, Do you really want to go into that 0-5 against the Kansas City? You've lost to them twice in Super Bowls. You had teams you thought were better. You had big double-digit leads in the fourth quarter and still lost. And if they can't win this, when Kansas City's offense hasn't looked great, I think if they lose this game, it's not going to ruin their season. But I think this will sit with them. They got the Cowboys after that, so maybe they get a good win after that. But I just think that it will be a real drain on their spirit because you just keep losing to this team. And so I do think the Niners win. I think for the Chiefs, if they lose, Nick, I don't think it's a big deal to them. They've lost to Buffalo in the regular season, beat them in the playoffs. They've lost to Cincinnati in the regular season, beat them in the playoffs.
They lost the Super Bowl rematch last year.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the thing, because a lot of people talking about Andy Reid off the bye. So last year when they lost to Philadelphia, he was off the bye, and the Eagles still beat him. He's just 1-2 when both teams have a bye. And San Francisco's, it wasn't a bye, but they got a extended rest, about 10 days off because they played on a Thursday night. So I just think it's more important to the Niners. They're at home. We know Kansas City's offense isn't quite what it was. And the key, I think a big key, Nick, will be, can the Niners run on the Chiefs?
And I don't think listen, the Niners Wilds run on everyone to a degree.
They were actually able to run. They're the one team that ran for more than 100 yards on the Lions. So the Lions have one of the best rush defenses in the league. So I think they'll be able to run well enough to set up the play action. I got 23-20.
23-20?
23-20 San Francisco.
Ooh, okay. This is why I said I didn't quite believe Kyle Shanahan. First of all, anytime you start talking about I don't think about the past, that means you probably are thinking about the past. That storyline doesn't come up in every game. So Josh pulled this. Not only has he not had success against the Chiefs, against the AFC studs, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, not great. 0-7, scores 22 points, gives up 33, and turnover differential of -7. That includes Super Bowls and everything else. Here's the other thing, and I'm going to show one other graphic that I think this got solved. Patrick Mahomes said, you know what, we need to solve the turnovers, which he's largely in charge of, so I think that's going to solve. He's like, we got to work on the red zone. So this graphic belies the talent of the coaching staff. It belies the talent of the quarterback and the historical success of those two. Patriots, of course. Dolphins don't have Tua. Cowboys are a little bit funky. But the Chiefs, I just think he's going to figure that out. And once those field goals turn to touchdowns, so I think a lot of the what's wrong with the Chiefs just go away if they just figure out the wrinkle in the red zone inefficiency.
So I'm going to add one thing to that, because I am one of the reasons I have been frustrated with you guys know how much a lot of my media consumption is podcasts. I listen to probably more podcasts than I should, just throughout all day, every day.
I agree with that. We go upstairs and Nick is listening to
the moment
the
show's over. It's kind of how I could try to consume, follow the whole league the way I do. And I think, once again, everyone's underrating the Chiefs, and it irritates me. Because I think the Chiefs are far and away better than everybody. I think the Chiefs right now are in a situation where they have played the league's third hardest schedule. They have dealt with as many injuries to high-level contributors as almost any team in the league. They have been awful in the red zone. They have been awful from a plus-minus, they're bottom 5 in the league in plus-minus. And their quarterback is playing, by his standards, the worst football of his career. And they're undefeated.
Right.
And the injury stuff those are long-term injuries. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be a bottom 5 red zone team, a bottom 5 turnover differential team, and that Mahomes is going to maintain playing at a level of like the 16th best quarterback in football. And so even if they don't become top 5 in any of those categories, I think they have a whole nother gear to get to. I think the bye should help it out, so I like the Chiefs a lot in this spot.
Meanwhile, the 2-4 Jets favored against
like a middling team that they just overlook, and it's that team Super Bowl. But I think the Niners win this game because it is more important to them.
I buy that.
And I don't think the Chiefs are taking them lightly, obviously, but the Niners need this. Like, they really need this. Even though Trent Williams has said rightly it's not going to be confetti from the sky should we win, but they need to win this game. I don't think it'll be the Super Bowl matchup, but if it is, Do you really want to go into that 0-5 against the Kansas City? You've lost to them twice in Super Bowls.